What we know is middle-class economics works. That's been the history of this country. That's been the history of the last 6 years when we've implemented middle-class economics, and the other side was telling us this would be a disaster and it would kill jobs and raise the deficit. Healthcare costs would explode, and none of that happened. That's pretty rare where you have two visions, a vigorous debate, and then you test who's right. And the record shows that we were right, and middle-class economics does work. Bottom line is this. We've got to make sure it continues to work. We should protect the progress we're making. I hear Republicans are holding their 50th or 60th vote next year to repeal or undermine the Affordable Care Act. I've lost count at this point. But here's something easy to remember. If that bill ever actually reached my desk, I would happily veto it. If they try to unravel new rules that we put in place to make sure Wall Street recklessness doesn't hurt American families again, I'll be happy to veto it. If rather than try to solve the problem of a broken immigration system, they compound the problem, I'll veto it. But my hope is that they join us. And you know, one good piece of news is I noticed that even though their policies haven't quite caught up yet, their rhetoric is starting to sound pretty Democratic. I heard Chris Van Hollen was telling me about one Republican senator who shall go unnamed, but generally doesn't agree with me on much. And he was suddenly shocked that the top 1% is doing really well and everybody else is getting squeezed. And we need to do something about it, and I welcome that. I consider imitation the highest form of flattery. Come on board. Let's go help out that middle-class family. Let's get something done. We've got a former presidential candidate on the other side who suddenly is just deeply concerned about poverty. That's great. Let's go. Come on, let's do something about it. I am glad that their rhetoric at least has shifted. But let's now make sure that the policies match up with the rhetoric. Let's make sure Americans are able to upgrade their skills for higher wages. Let's build the world's most competitive economy. Let's make sure that we end this across-the-board sequester that doesn't differentiate between smart government spending and dumb government spending. Let's take a scalpel and not a meat cleaver, and let's make sure that we're funding the things that we know help American families succeed. That's a smart thing to do.